all the homework is done. You still get to the 15th if you've got anything you want to finish up. You still get 90% credit for anything that you do from here on out. Where was I going? In here, we have, let's go into old tests. All right, I've put all of your tests in spring 2022. So you guys have seen this before, old tests. What we're going to do is go through the tests. Your final exam will consist of questions from these tests. All right, so these are the only things you need to study for your final exam. And so when I've got the solutions for everything here, even the latest one, if you should need any of those. Let's pop into here. Remember, what was my promise to you, that you can replace any of your 4 exams by doing better on that part of the final. So the final exam will be 4 parts. The total value of the exam is 200 points. So it's like 2 tests is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these exams, and you, since we have, how many people we have today? 2. We only got 4 today. You 4 get to decide what's going to be on the final exam. So, well, I mean, to within some extent, I can tell you right now that problem number 1 here will definitely be like on the exam. Now, when I say problem number 1 will be on there, you're not under the impression I'm going to use the same numbers, are you? Good. You never know. Some of the things that students expect is beyond my comprehension sometimes. So let's go ahead and make a note. Now, when I do the final exam, since it's only worth 200 points, that means each exam is like 50 points inside of there. So it'll be 4 parts, 50 points each. That means when I say I'm going to have a problem like this on here, problem number 1, I will have one just like it, the same words and everything. I'll probably just copy and paste it and then edit. What I'll probably have then are 2 problems like these. All right. So what I need you guys to do is to tell me if there's any of these things you want me to do so that you can be reminded how we do them. Okay, right now I'm just saying that I'm going to ask a question like number 1. Are these okay, or do you need me to do any? I need you to be vocal here.
Can we do
That includes those people online. You guys got to be vocal and let me know if you need me to do anything.
Okay, can we do D right quick?
1B?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from test 1, 1B. I didn't grab that too well enough. All right, so this is from test 1. We'll do all this. I'll just specify it's from test 1 here. All right, well, you still have your order of operations. What would you do first? The exponent. Parentheses, there's nothing to do inside of those parentheses, so you do the exponent. So this should become 5/8 divided by 1/9 plus 5/9. Do you agree? So that was the exponent first. Good. All right, now that I have that, what would you do next? The division. And to do a division of fractions, you flip the second one. So this will turn into 5/8 times 9/1. So far, so good. Now, when you multiply fractions together, unless there's some simplifying you can do, I just multiply across. So I have 45 over 8 plus 5 over 9. Finish this off, what do I have to do next? Do what to them? Common denominator. CD would be 72 in this case. So that means I got to rewrite each of them over 72. So like the first one, the first fraction, 48 over 45 over 8. That first fraction, I had to multiply the 8 by 9 to give me that 72. So multiply that 45 by 9, and what do you get? Divided by 9, 36405. On the other one, I had to multiply that 9 by 8. So what's 5 times 8? 484. Now I can add together. So now you add the numerators together because they have the same denominators. So I have 445. Now, before you do anything else, I would look and see if the question requires that you answer it in any way, shape, in some fashion. And if it doesn't require you to simplify or anything like that, you're done. However, it just says evaluate the following expression. So what do I have to do yet? I got a number, that's all I have to do. I haven't simplified or anything, because it didn't say in the problem and simplify. I don't know if it's simplified. The only way it simplifies is 3 goes into 445. It doesn't go into 445, and then 8's not going to go into. So I think it's actually simplified all the way. These are the most straightforward of the types of questions on the exam, I think. This is before we were even doing algebra. Yeah. I think it's like 650. Look at the syllabus. It has the point breakdown is on the syllabus. So I think 400 for tests, 200 for a final, and 50 points for homework. 400 for tests, 200 for the final, and probably 50 for homework. All right, so we go down here. What about 2 and 3? Let me know if you're okay with 2 and 3 that you see in front of you. You want to do 2? Okay. And 3? Yeah. Okay, so it says evaluate the expression when A is negative, A and C is 2. What do you think it needs to do with those numbers? It needs to replace those letters with the corresponding numbers. So this is going to look like we have 4, but negative 8 will be squared plus 58 over 2. I'll pause there for a minute. Do you follow what I did? Notice how I put the negative in parentheses. That's a smart thing to do when you're substituting it. it's a problem like the first one. What would you do at this next stage? Next one. What's negative 8 if I square it? Right here. Positive. Negative times a negative is positive. Right now, I can actually do the multiplication and division simultaneously because they're broken. Plus between them allows me to do that. If they were back to back, I would have to go. But 4 times 64 is 256. 2 is 29. Five. All right, so I'll put a problem like this on the final. And you said you wanted to see 3 also? Yes. Simplify the following expression. This one, what I would do first is multiply this negative 5 through by distributing it. I'll pause there. Do you understand where the negative 5z plus 30 comes from?
Yep.
That's right. Right, the positive 30y. Now, what do you got to do here? It says simplify. What do you think it means to do next? So with the y's, how much y am I going to have? 5 plus 30y gives me 27y. How about the z's? Negative 1z because negative 5z plus 4z. It's just negative 1. I'll just put negative z. Wait, you got 27y on both sides. Find this thing with this thing. Oh, you subtracted. Finding like terms, you can just move things around. That doesn't subtract 3 from both sides. I'm not solving an equation. Oh, that's the answer. Right? That's right. That's all there is to it. You know, listen to me. Look at the original problem. Do you see an equal sign anywhere in the problem? In the original problem, do you see an equals? No, there's no equal sign, is there? That means it's not an equation. That means there's not 2 sides. Yeah, if you want to call it that, sure. Yeah. We're not getting one by itself. You don't, there, like I said, if there was an equals, that's a different story. Then you know what to do. Oh, everybody likes these things, don't they? We'll put word problems from later. Let me see if we have enough to make a test. Right now I have probably 10, 20 points. I need to get to 50. I like these. Do you guys know how to do these?
Yeah, I know how to do
It
those.
does not say 65% of 39. You guys know how to do it? No?
Oh, I didn't even see it. It says 65% of what number? Oops.
It's an extraordinarily easy problem. I'll show you why. You can literally write the equation underneath of the problem. 65% is otherwise known as 0.65. 0.65. The word of means multiplication. What number we call x? The word is equals 9. How would you solve an equation like that? Why are you subtracting? Why would you subtract? But you gotta undo the multiplication. So you divide both sides by 0.65. This is practically a one-step problem. So the other side, all you gotta do is use your calculator to tell me what that number is. What'd you say it is? Comes that exactly 60? Is it exact? Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. That's right. It is literally should be the easiest problem on the test. But if I change the wording to say, well, no, I mean, I can't even make up wording that's different from that. I can't even be critical to this problem. There's no way to be even. The word of and is always have to occur. So just be careful if you have to divide this. The phrasing could be slightly different on your exam, but I'll say number 6. I'm trying to keep track of the points for these as well. Now, let me do it this way. This will keep me going for 25 now. Now, the next one is the bread and butter of this course, and that's solving equations. So you can see we got 45 points. I got 25. Is there anything after this? There are some other stuff, so I can't take all of them. I'm going to pick, I don't know how many of them I'm going to pick. Let me see how many I pick from the rest of the thing after 7, but conceivably maybe 4 problems from here, probably 20 points. So are there any of these? So I'm going to definitely ask questions from number 7. Are there any of these you'd like me to do? The letter D is down here. D is in dog. Okay, well, one of the rules that we have for solving the equation, the first rule is that you simplify both sides. That means you multiply everything out, combine all your like terms, and then you're ready to actually do something. First thing I would do is multiply this -2 through -18. -18b 16 4b 2b plus 6. Okay. What's the next step then? Left, I can combine -18b positive 4b. 14b 16 is 2b 6. Right. Pick a side that you want your letters to occur on. So add 14b. Yeah. Sorry. So the other side right would be 16. Good. subtract 6, that's right. 10 is equal to 16b. Got it? Divide by 16. Divide by 16. Remember, it's b that you want to get along. Well, yeah, now the question require you to simplify your answers. Let me check and see if it did. Just look like exam. See what it says? Simplify my answers. It does say simplify them, so I'm not done yet. What can I do yet? Right, you can divide out the 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So it's 5. So I wouldn't do anything more than what's required. If anything extra that you do, you could make a mistake in that extra step. I think you said you wanted E as well. Let's get to E. There it is. Are you serious? All right. What do you think you would do? You have a clue? You could multiply both sides of this equation by 5. Did you know that? So one of the things you can do, you have 3x plus 5 over 5. 2. I'm going to multiply on the left by 5. Also on the right by 5. So as long as I do the same thing to both sides, I'm okay. Most students in this course seem to be uncomfortable with this thing on the left side unless I put that as 5 over 1. But students get freaked out if I don't do that. So now on the left, you see how I can cancel the 5s? Three x plus 5 equals -2. Now what? But this one, you should be on autopilot. So subtract 5 and the 5 in the center. Subtract 5. I should be able to wake you up at 4 in the morning and throw this in front of you and be like, oh, that's easy. So we have 3x equals -15. Divided by 3. Yeah, hopefully it's very easy for you by now. You can always remember in these equations, you can always wipe out the fractions. The technique was to multiply by the LCD and it would wipe out all the fractions. Like 8, you want to do H? Tell me what the LCD of H is. That's right, it's 15. I'm going to multiply everything by 15. So the truth is, you don't have to deal with fractions if you don't want to. So I'm going to multiply everything by 15 since the LCD is 15. That means rewriting the entire equation from that LCD times 4 over 3 minus 15 over 1 is 2/3. 7. Notice that I used just a 15 on the last one because it was convenient. It's 15 over 1 because I'm dealing with these fractions. But now as you go through, watch all these fractions disappear. This 3 goes into 5 times. What's left of the piece that I just canceled? Tell me what is that piece now? I'm going to write down this part like this to these cancelings. Underneath of it, what is it actually equal? Tell me what? Same thing with the second one. 3 goes into 15 5 times. What's left of that second part? So I have minus 10. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So what's left of that piece? X. You see the X there? Oh, the liquid math. And finally, 15 times 7, that's probably not on your multiplication table. It's 105. What would you suggest I do next? Nothing to combine. Okay. You want to add 10 to 5? I personally would add 9x, but I don't care. For the 10, so I have 20x equals negative 9x plus 115. Going to add 9x to both sides. X. The plus sign. You got the 20x equals 9x plus 115. So you put the 9x, you cancel that out. It's 20. So wouldn't it be 29 plus the 1 still? No, there's an equal. Divided by 29. I don't think 29 goes into it even. Yeah. 5. Let me figure out. Let me take a look at what else we have here. We have a later thing that talks about these, but I think this one here. Trade one. Everybody likes trade ones. Well, you guys. Trade one's terrible. We do this later, this type of problem later here. And so I'm going to hold off on wanting that, but I'm looking at 8, 10. We'll start with that. So if I want 8 and 10, those would be 5 points apiece. That means I'll ask 3 questions from problem 7. All right, so with that in mind, I like this type of question here. Do you need me to do this one? Now, keep in mind, we are finite in time, so the more I do, the less, at the end, I'll have to rush more, just so you know. What's that? Yeah, we'll see. Yes. I said, well, all I'm saying is I will not be able to do every single question that's going to appear on the final. All right, the sales tax for an item was $16.80 and it cost $4.20 before tax. So how does that work? You want- How do you figure out? This is, it would be $420. The price of the thing. And the tax is the $16.80. Now you need to figure out what percentage that is of the $4.20 because they base tax on the price of the item. So what you might say is $16.80 is what percentage of $420? Can you turn that into an equation? So I should see something like that. Why would you do that? No. Don't subtract that 68. The price of the item is $420 on the shelf. Understand? That means when you bought the item, it actually cost you $436.80. So we need to find out what percentage that 1680 is of the 420. That tells you what your tax rate is. So you simply divide by 420. And then just use your calculator to give you the rest. I get 0.04, which is not the way you answer it though. What should you answer? For percentage, or percent for your answer. And then another type, not that one, we'll have a one like that later. That's a mixture problem, but trains, everybody likes trains. Do you need me to do this one? Are you guys okay with the trains? Okay, then I'll not copy it then. That includes you folks on the other side. All right, so these is the questions I have chosen are 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10. You guys got that? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Yes, sir.
That's from test 1. 3, 6, 7, 8, 10. All right, moving on.
6, 7, 8, 10.
Yes. All right. Oh, this wasn't this year though, was it? That's not from this year. That's a mistake. I know we didn't do that one though. I don't think we did that. No, I don't know why I got that. We did this. Yeah, I figure problem 1. I'll put that on there from test 2. That's an easy one. So for test 2, I'll definitely ask you a question like problem 1. It'll probably be 5 points. All right, can you determine the slope of a line? Will you be able to do this? Rise over run. You see, you can see what I did here, but do you need me to?
You have to simplify that.
I didn't ask you to. You weren't asked. It just says find the slope. It didn't say simplify. I put both of them here. If you either one of these would be acceptable. So a picture, you guys can do the slope from a picture? Right. The rise was 6 down and the run was 14 to the right. You always go right. Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to, but that's not the way it's defined. It's defined from left to right. Probably one of these two questions. I'll probably do just one part of this. Can you find the slope if I give you 2 points? What is, do you see what it is right here? See this?
Mhm.
Khalil is speak. Oh, you know what? I got the volume all the way down. Sorry, Khalil. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was saying, are you asking us? Are we doing both of these on the test or just one of them?
Just
Like,
one. I'm going to pick, it'll be a 5-point question. You
Okay.
guys remember this thing here?
Yeah.
You were mixing your formulas up. The slope, you're thinking of the slope intercept form of a line. This here is the slope formula. You guys remember it? You take your y1, y2.
Just probably subtract them.
Yeah, we can do, I can do one of these if you want. Do you want me to? All right. Well, the formula was the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Most students that I've seen make this course do something like the following. They'll like label them x1, y1, x2, y2, so they'll keep track of them, right? So that'll help them when they do the formula. Y2 minus y1 would be -5 minus -2 divided by the x2 was 2 minus -. So those double negatives change to pluses. On the top, I'm going to get -2. On the bottom, I'm going to get 4. That equals that 1/2 if I choose to simplify. We're not asked to, though. So either one of those answers would have been acceptable. You do the same thing for part B. Oh, that's right. That's -5 plus 2. That should be a 2, you're right. Five plus 2. I have -5 plus 2. 4. There's really up and down. That's about it. The other one very similar. Remember, the answers to all of these questions are there. So you can check your own work simply by looking at the answers. So I asked one of those. I'm up to 15 points. All right, I need to get to 50. I'm graphing probably one of these, number 5. You'll give you an equation of a line. Can you tell me what the slope and the y-intercept is? I'm pressing the wrong button combination to make this happen. So I ask a question from here. This question 5. I think that's going to be 5 points because I'll just ask one of them. Looking at part B, can you tell me what the slope and the y-intercept is just by looking at the equation? All right, you have to be able to do that. Notice that in part B, the slope is -1/2. It's the number in front of x, and the y-intercept is the number after x, if you will. Now, part A is not so easy. Part A is a little more complicated because I didn't give you it in Y format. So this one, I didn't give it to you in the right format. Do you know what you need to do to figure out what the slope and y-intercept is? So part A, part B is already done, really. Start with 3x minus 4y, 17. You said move them over. What are you going to do?
Okay, so for starters,
Subtract 3x. That's good if you put it. That's a good way to put it.
I'm gonna put x in front.
Yeah, because that format is the one where you're going to use to read off the answer. Break it up like that. See what I did? Now, negatives in front of the x will cancel. So we have y equals 3/4 x minus 17/4. So we have, oh, you can read it here. So you see now, see where I get the slope from? See where I get the y-intercept from? So whenever you see this question like, hey, remember, solve for y. That's all you have to do. Part B is done. Yeah, I by now, I mean, you do enough of these, you can do them in your head. All right, so I asked you a question like problem 5. What am I up to? I'm up to 20 points. I got to have a lot more points. Yeah, these kind of questions are important here. I'm not sure just yet. I know I got some of my answers, but unfortunately, I put in the wrong test. I'll have to try to put the correct test so that you don't have the answers staring at you. But my guess is you're going to, when you practice these, you don't want the answers in front of you. All right, a line passes through the point 90 and has a slope of -3/4. So write an equation in slope-intercept form. So what that means, to write it in slope-intercept form, what we want for an answer is going to look like slope-intercept form means that your answer is going to look like y equals mx plus b. Your first step should be seeing if you know any of those numbers, M or B, problem. Do I give M, B in the problem? It's the slope. M is equal to what? Y equals negative 3/4 x plus B. Now, what should I do next? Wait, you gotta figure out B. You're almost done. I got half of it. How do I get that B? Notice this point here. 0.9 by. Fortunately, it's not that. So what do you do? Sign correction. 9 represents what of the letters?
X.
That's right. So negative 3/4 times 9. And what's the Y supposed to be at the same time? Zero. X is 9, Y is 0. Is that what it says? Now, when I do this, I'm gonna treat that as 9/1. So I get 0 equals, negative 27/4. I'm gonna try to figure out what B is, so how would you figure out B now? No. You only get B by itself, right? Why don't you just add 27/4 to both sides? But I'm not sure exactly what, if I gave you this, an example, if I said, solve this equation, what would you do to solve that equation? What would you do to get B in that equation? Why is that different from these other ones? So you just add whatever that thing is first on both sides. Yeah, all I'm saying is, this answer is practically done. It's going to take 10 minutes there. Maybe we'll come back about 5 after. I run to the bathroom, so I got to take a break. Question like number 7. These, nobody likes these. They're not hard if you just remember what we're. Now both of them says find the equation of the line. That means you're looking at y equals mx plus b. So whenever you're asked to find an equation of a line, the best bet is to say my answer is y equals mx plus b. Now, for the first question, can you tell me what I should use for my m? Two. Right. Where did you get that 2 from? Parallel, so it's the same slope. That 2. What about this side over here that's supposed to be perpendicular? Can you tell me right now what the slope is? That's right. The negative reciprocal. So all I gotta do is figure out the b for each of these and I'm done. How do you go and find that b? How do you find that b?
Solid for it.
Yep. That point means x is 7 and y is 7. You have a point 7, and you replace y with 7 and x with 7. Here. At the same point, isn't it? Right. I made a mistake when I did both of those. Sorry about that. No, I put the 7 in the b. That's not where it goes. You know, it goes where the x is. So we have 2 times 7 plus b. That's what I meant. You can see x and y are both equal to 0. And can you solve each of these for b? Here you have 7 equals 14 plus b. What is b going to be? Negative 7 is going to equal b. So the first equation looks like y equals 2x minus 7. How about over here? What do you do? Add 7 halves to both sides. It's not as pleasant as the first one, but it's a fraction in there. Well, you use 7 plus 7 halves. That's like 14 halves. That's the 7. You're close. It's actually 21 over 2. So my second equation then is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 21 over 2. So that problem, let me see which one that was. That was problem number 7. I'll ask you one part of that. It could be either one, so be on the lookout. What else do we have down here? Write an equation for the line below. I really like these ones because I'm going to give you just an equation like this, and you don't really have a good y-intercept to use. how do you figure out the equation line? This is like the hardest of all the problems. This 7 and 8 are the toughest ones. Let me see what else there is before there is an inequality. I'm going to give you 10 without any question. Graphing, probably a couple of these. So where's that? 30. 30, I could do this, maybe 35, 45, and maybe 50. Okay, I think I could do that. So this will be an easier problem because I'm only going to make it worth 5 points, but I'm going to ask you question 8. Tell me if you need me to do that. And then I'll have you graph some lines. So you saw we had 4 different types here, like a vertical line was in there, where Y wasn't solved for, stuff like that. I'm going to ask you 2 of these. And then finally, I'm going to ask you a question like 10. You see, that's 1, 2, 35, 40, 50. Okay, so I have 50 points. So I got all 50 done. Time-wise, I don't test 3. You remember dashed or solid, that should be one thing that's important. These are just graphing lines, and this one. Do we need me to do any of these?
Yeah, can we do 8 right quick?
Number 8, sure.
Mhm.
It's about as big as I can. Hey, got a little carried away, didn't it? Okay, notice I labeled the points, which is going to be needed. I think to get the slope, you can do it in 2 ways. One way is to actually use this point slope form, but another way is to count your way there. If I start at the left point, so this would be my starting, let me see if I can make surface. This is my starting point right there. Now, if I got to count up or down and then to the right to get to the other point, how far up or down do I have to go? Down 1.1. So down 1. Down 1. You got it. Now that I'm here now, how far do I have to go to the right? 12, so -7, but let's write this 12 that way. So I have my slope. And what? Right. So my equation is this. Y equals -1/12 x plus b. And I don't know what b is because it doesn't go through a good point on the graph, but you can figure it out. How can you do that? Plug in one of those points. I don't care. I'm going to pick 5, 2 since it avoids a negative number. Use the other one and you get the same answer. So I'm going to use the point 5, 2. That means x is equal to 5 when y is equal to 2. And if you like, it's probably easier for you to put the 5 over 1. And now this question is just like the ones we did before. I got to figure out what b is undone. Let me simplify a little bit. 5 over negative. What do you do to get b by itself? This would be the cutest answer you'll ever see, if you want. We have b, therefore equals 2 5/12. By the way, if you look at the answer, look where it crosses toward the graph. Does that look like that could be 2 and 5/12? Where it crosses the B? Where it crosses the y-axis? Does it look like that? It's between, it's almost exactly halfway between 2 and 3, isn't it? This guy right here, that's 2, 5/12. If you don't like that version of the B, which I don't care what version you put in, you can write it as a fraction should you so choose. But the answer, so your answer, I have the negative 1/12. The answer is going to or for those that don't like number answer. I just figured on that step there, the answer was so simple, it was already a mixed answer. Mixed number just by adding the 5/12 and 12. All right, so that figures test 2. Did you guys get the ones that I'm going to do? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5 through 10. It's actually just missing question 4. So everything except question 4. I'll see if I can get the right test 2 in there. I know I've got the one with the answers. The other version that's in there is not exactly much different, so. See what I want to do next. Let's take a look at test 3. Good, that's from this year. You will have to do one of each kind of solving of a system. Can you solve a system of equations and find out where they intersect? That's going to be, each of these, because they're lengthier problems, will probably still be worth 10 points on this test. So from test 3, I'll ask you one of each kind. So you'll have a problem like this where you have to graph them and show me where they intersect. Then I gave you 2 of them. I'm only going to give you 1 of them on the final. Same with these. I'm only going to give you 1 of each of these. So let me see if I make sure that I have this right. You will have a problem like problem 1 or 2. Let's just say problem 1, although it doesn't really matter. So 1 or 2. They're both the same kind. That'd be 10 points. Let me scroll down here. And you stop me when you want me to do any of these. I'll give you a problem like number 3. It'll be worth 10 points.
Can we do 3B?
3B, okay. This is test 3. Okay, this is the substitution problem. So I need to substitute something else into something. Did you notice that this 3x here is also there? Those are exactly the same thing, aren't they? That means I can put the 4y minus 9 where the 3x goes. This question before that was 3x minus 4y equals 18, and I replaced the 3x with the 4y minus 9. This problem has a strange answer because the 4y's will cancel out. And do you know what that means when that happens? Negative 9 equals 18. You know what happened? What that means? No. Right? They don't intersect. If you graph them, they don't intersect each other. So in particular, if they don't intersect, if two lines don't intersect, what do you know about them? They're parallel. That's right. That's right. And this here, you can just take this X right here and put it into that spot right there. If I can get it to do just that. So instead of that, you'll put a 3y minus 17 there. That's right. What about elimination method? Would you guys like me to do one of these? You'll have one of these as well. It'll be worth 10 points. Uh-huh. This one requires the elimination method, so you want to wipe out one of the two letters. I'll work the x's first. If I want to wipe out the x's, what do I need to multiply these things by? On the first one, positive 3x. Positive 5. Why positive 5? Right, I've already got the negative handle. This, what do I get? I get negative 15x plus 39y 66. Everything got multiplied by 3 in the first equation. Second equation would be positive 15x plus 21. Now keep in mind, these problems can have very ugly looking answers. It's the graphic. Add these things together, the x's are going to disappear by design. So I will get 59, 6. Ugly looking. Next, since I got y on the first try, I gotta go and do x on the second try. So you saw, it's crucial you rewrite these things. All right, now our intention is to wipe out the y's. So tell me how you can do that. Top. And what on the bottom? Positive 13. And it doesn't matter which one gets the negative. As long as one does. That's all that matters. First equation then, I'm going to get 20x minus 20x minus 52y. How would it be? This what's -4 times +13?
Oh, okay.
Then the second line, I'm gonna get 39x. I want you to see something, by the way. Plus 52y equals 160 plus 208. But watch this now. When I add them together, the y's will disappear. This is a sort of a check for you to know if you're probably going to be right. Divide by 59 to get x. X equals 120. My answers have the same denominator. That almost always happens. So if you get the same denominator, not absolutely certain, but you have an indication you are. So you can put your answer, I think the way I want you to put on the test is as an ordered pair. Make sure you get in the Okay, so we've got the types. You will be able to do one of your choice. So I'll give you like problem 5, 10 points, 1 question. So you'll have to do one of each way, and then I'll say do one any way you like. And then these guys. Oh heck, there's only 2 questions left. I guess that's pretty much the whole test, isn't it? Sorry guys, I give you every single problem on this test. Do we need to do any of these? I think you want me to, but like, so I'll give you 1 word problem, okay? It'll be worth 10 points. You guys with me? Do you want to do that? And that's fine with me. You want to do like part B? All right, I'll make sure to make it a liquid one. It doesn't matter to me, it's fine. I don't care what kind of word problem you guys have to specialize in. Oh wait, I was wrong. Look at this. What about this thing? Oh crap, I have to give you one of these too. Sorry, I thought the test was over. My bad. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I think you want to know, I'll give you a mixture problem with liquids. That's fine. Maybe I'll make it worth 5 points and try to figure out a way to make it easy or easier. But then this one will probably be worth about 5 points too, because it's really all the points that I have left. I'm not sure I'm going to do this. If I make them easy enough, I guess you could do them. And do you guys remember these problems where you shade and everything? I'll tell you what, I think this is the easier way. If I take this out, well, I'll ask you, I'll let you choose. Do you want me to have a problem like this where you get to pick your method, or 2 of these and still 1 of these? I'm saying 5 and then two 6s and then a 7, or I drop 5. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My bad. Let me say it again. I'm saying if I include 5, I'm limited to what else I can do, because that was already 30 points. That means I would have to give you like 1 of these and 1 of these to finish off the test. But if I don't have 5, that's 2 word problems. What, you don't like number 5? Or you afraid that I'll be too, what do you call it? Inventive?
Weird LCD involves kind of.
Let me see here. Hold on a second. If I take out 5, but what I could do is this. No, I think I could do this. All right, here's what we can do. Let's take out 5. That's good. I can still give you one. These word problems were 10 points apiece. All right. So we can do, I can give you one, the mixture problem for problem 6, a liquid mixture one, and then problem 7. How's that? That way they'll each worth 10 points then.
That's perfect.
Okay. All right. Last test was the one we just had. Let me find out where this stuff is at. Test 4 is the one that we just had. Yeah, what happens is whatever you do better on is what I'll count. So the final will have 4 parts, test 1 part, test 2, test 3, and test 4. So if you do better on test 1 on the final, I'll just replace your original test grade with whatever you did on the final.
Right.
But if your test 1 grade was better, I'll leave it alone.
You'll leave it.
Yeah. So you're not going to get knocked down in any way, shape, or form. This is going to be mostly straightforward. We got to do a few of these kind of problems. It's all, I mean, they're all really just more of the same things. You can see, like, there's a lot of them here. Let me give. The way I want to write it is a little bit different. So test 4. I want to give you a little bit of 2, 4, and 7, because that's the bread and butter on this test. So I want to give you questions 2, 4, and 7, because they're all kind of the same. They just get more complicated as they go. So between those, let me see how many points that would be. This one's 25, so it'll probably be about 10 points from here, maybe 10 points from here, and 10 points here, so 30 points. For 2, 4, and 7. Do you guys understand? Now let's talk about the rest of the test. I got 20 more points to fill out the rest of the test. I'm going to have to give you something on like problem 8, where you have to convert to or from scientific notation. But I'll only give you one of them. That leaves me with 15 points. Was there anything after that? No, okay. Numerical problem like this should be, do you guys know what the answer to this one is?
No, I don't know the answer. I think I got that wrong, actually.
If you wanted to write this without a negative exponent, how could you rewrite this thing? Remember, in fact, you got to read it first. You got to write it without an exponent, but to evaluate it, oh look, I didn't end with a period, did I? This is from question test 4. So a question like this, where you'll have a number, this won't have x's and y's. You just have to do it. But the first thing you can do is the following. Understand that what I just did? I flipped it, but look at the exponent now. It's now positive, and the thing's upside down. Remember, that was one of the rules that we went through. And now you can just do 2 to each one of them. So I can do 8 squared over 5 squared. Now it says it wants you to write it without an exponent, so I'm almost done. I'm gonna have 8 times 8 is 64. 5 times 5 is 25. So we're up to 40 points. I need 2 more questions. Actually, this one easy for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Professor, are we allowed to do both of the scientific notation questions, or no?
No, I'm just gonna do one of them.
Okay.
So I'm up to 40 points. I need 2 well, maybe it depends if I run out of points. I don't think I have, well, there's really only 3 types to choose from. I'm not really, you have this kind, which is an easy, if this is easy, I don't mind putting on the final. If it's an easy 5 points, it's an easy 5 points. I don't think anybody missed the first one. All right, so I'll put 1 on there. Remember, when I say 2, 4, and 7, I'm just gonna grab a couple from each one of them. Oh, 5 or 6, which one do you like better? You like 6 better? What was the answer for 6? Do you remember? You're the only one speaking, so I'm gonna pick 6 unless somebody else speaks up.
Should be next square.
Nope. You got it right? Correct? That means you didn't get it right.
5 or 6.
That's right.
Oh, 5.
You like 5 better? You got it right. What's the answer for 5? 3. Not everybody got it. Unfortunately. All right, nobody else is speaking, so I'm gonna say number 5. Right, it's gonna equal 3, exactly right. So for test 4, I'm taking a little bit from 2, 4, and 7. That'll be 30 points. And the remaining numbers are 1, 3, 5, and 8. So basically everything except 6. So we'll pause there. Are there any questions?
Substitution method.
Right. 1 elimination, 1 graphing, 1 substitution, and 1 elimination.
You have to choose your own method, right?
Yeah, I took that out. So you don't have to, you'll do it however I ask you to do it.
For number 5, the exponent is 0, so doesn't that turn a number to a 1?
Yep. So what's the answer for 5?
3.
That's right.
Oh wow. Okay.
It should be it should be really simple. So I think that's 30 points. All right, your final exam then is going to be on Wednesday, obviously, same time, 1 o'clock. You'll get at least 2 hours, whatever it takes to finish mostly. And then when I get finished grading, I'll put your scores in Blackboard, and I'll put your grade, everything up in there. You can check it out. Make sure I did the substitutions and everything correctly, substituting the better test and everything. You'll be able to check, I think you'll be able to see Blackboard even after the semester is over for a few days. You get like a week after the semester, so you'll be able to look at everything. Are there any questions? A lot to do. 46 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I will see you then.
thank you.
And make sure you bring your calculator. I have rulers if you have to have one, but bring your calculators, plenty of writing material. Check the battery on your calculator, unless it's solar. Any questions for my WebEx folks?
Nope. No questions.
All right. See you guys Wednesday.
Alrighty.